Hello everyone. Today we are going to start with the topic enzymes. The first session is on Introduction to Enzymes. Enzymes are biological catalysts, so they can be defined as thermolabile organic catalysts produced by living cells. Enzymes can be made up of either protein or RNA. All the chemical reactions taking place in living cells are catalyzed by enzymes. Enzymes increase the rate of reaction by lowering the activation energy. The reactants of enzymes are called as substrates. Substrates bind on enzyme at a specific site known as active site. Enzymes show specificity with respect to the type of reaction they catalyze and also the substrate which they choose. Let us see details of structure of proteinic enzymes. Enzymes contain more than 100 amino acids linked with each other by peptide bond forming a polypeptide. In case of soluble enzymes, the polypeptide chain folds on itself to form globular structure. Enzymes can be made up of a single polypeptide or multiple polypeptides. Each polypeptide is called as a subunit of enzyme. The diagram here shows crystal structure of hexokinase 1 from yeast Cluveromyces lactis. You can see here that this particular enzyme is made up of two subunits. One subunit is shown in red color and the other subunit is shown in blue color. Ribozymes. As we have seen that enzymes can be made up of either protein or RNA, let us now see details of RNA enzymes. Ribozymes or ribonucleic acid enzymes are RNA molecules that are capable of catalyzing specific biochemical reactions, similar to the action of protein enzymes. Ribozymes are made up of only RNA, or they can be made up of combination of RNA and protein as seen in case of ribosomes. The RNA component is important for catalytic activity of these enzymes. Ribozymes catalyze reactions such as protein synthesis, which is catalyzed by ribosomes, or many reactions involving processing of RNA such as RNA cleavage and RNA splicing. Now we will see examples of ribozymes. The first example is ribosomes. The protein synthesis takes place on ribosomes. Ribosomes have two subunits, the smaller subunit and the larger subunit. So this is the structure of ribosomes. In eukaryotic ribosome, the ribosome is 80S with a 40S small subunit and 60S large subunit. In case of prokaryotes, it is 70S ribosome with small subunit which is 30S and large subunit which is 50S. The small subunit binds with the mRNA which is shown here in green color in the diagram. Let us see the details of crystal structure of eukaryotic 60S, that is the large ribosomal subunit from Tetrahymena thermophila. This particular subunit you can see that is made up of combination of proteins which are indicated here as blue or red coils, or RNA which is seen as grey colored strands. Double helical structures which you can see in the center are formed due to folding of single stranded RNA on itself. There are some RNA molecules which are present towards the periphery which are shown in red color. This particular 28 srRNA of the larger subunit of tetrahymena is responsible for protein synthesis. Let us see few more examples of ribozymes. snRNPs, or which are pronounced as SNRPs, are small nuclear ribonucleoproteins. They are RNA protein complexes that combine with unmodified pre-mRNA in case of eukaryotes, and they are responsible to form spliceosome along with proteins. A large RNA protein molecular complex upon which splicing of pre-mRNA occurs in the nucleus of eukaryotic cell. Splicing involves removal of unwanted introns or intervening sequences of RNA so as to join the exons to give mature mRNA. Next example is ribonuclease P or RNase P, which catalyzes endonucleolytic cleavage of RNA and is involved in processing of tRNA precursor and removes 5' extra nucleotides from tRNA precursor. The enzymes sometimes require a non-protein component for their action. In such cases, in absence of this particular non-protein component, which is called as cofactor, the enzyme is inactive. Such inactive protein is called as apoenzyme. Apoenzyme combines with the non-protein component cofactor to give active enzyme, which is called as holoenzyme. Let us see in little details cofactors. So cofactors we have seen are non-protein components which interact with enzymes and which are essential for activity of enzymes. Cofactors can be either inorganic in nature. So example is metal ion cofactors, or they can be organic in nature. The organic cofactors are also called as coenzymes. Coenzymes are usually loosely bound with the enzyme and can diffuse from the enzyme. If coenzyme binds with the enzyme by covalent linkage, so it is a tight binding interaction, such coenzymes are called as prosthetic groups. In coming sessions, we'll learn the details of cofactors, coenzymes and prosthetic groups. Thank you.